Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and I've been using iOS 17 on my main device for a couple of months now, and so I thought I'd share my top features that I actually use and really like. And the first one is Name Drop and AirDrop. It's super simple and has sort of been done before with third-party apps, but of course it's hard to beat Apple's animation, where you bring two phones together, it connects them, and then you can either send over a contact card, or we can AirDrop maybe a photo from one to the other. Give it a second, it airdrops the photo, connects automatically, and then allows you to see that photo, and then maybe use it as a wallpaper or something else. I find this to be super simple, very Apple-like, and a great implementation and way to use AirDrop. I use this every single day. The next thing I really like is live voicemail. This is a new feature that transcribes voicemail in real time, and let me show you how that works. So first, let me turn off Do Not Disturb. I have a phone call coming into my iPhone, and you'll see I have the option now to send it directly to voicemail, and of course, accept it or decline it or message them. If I send it to voicemail, it will take a moment, and then it will begin to transcribe in real time. It will let me know when that begins by using haptic feedback on my iPhone. So it will take a second, and as soon as it vibrates, it just did, you'll see it start to transcribe in real time and actually type out what I'm saying on the Pixel Fold. I then have the option to actually accept the call or message that person depending on if it's something I need to pick up. So this is a super helpful feature and one I'm very grateful that's actually here. Another iOS feature I'm grateful they've added and I use all of the time has to be messages and the new audio transcription option. So you'll see here's something that I sent to myself from another phone and it transcribed in real time so I don't have to listen to it if maybe I'm in a meeting or I just don't have time to do that. I can just glance at it, see what it says, and then continue. Of course, I can play it back if I want to as well. Also, the new app menu is something I really like where it's out of the way. It's no longer at the bottom of the screen, but rather a full menu here with different apps that you can select to either enable or disable in your message settings. So within settings, if we go down to messages, and within iMessage apps, we can disable any of these we don't want to show there as well. So maybe we don't want things such as maybe Pinterest or maybe Starbucks or anything else we just want to remove from our messages as we're not going to use them there specifically, but maybe we want things such as YouTube or Google Photos. If we go back in, go to our different apps, they're now gone. We just have a short list of whatever we've selected. These features really make messages better and get things out of the way, making overall life easier. Something that also goes along with messages and also mail is verification codes. We've had it where it can autofill for quite some time with iPhone, with using messages. If someone's texting you a verification code for two-factor authentication, it will autofill within an app or web page. However, it can do that from mail now and also auto-delete once you've used it. So within settings, under our password options, we have the option to clean up automatically. It says automatically delete verification codes in messages and mail after inserting with autofill. This is something that's become very useful and makes it easier. I don't have to clean up those messages anymore or emails. Another group of features I find that I'm using and enjoying a lot with iOS 17 have to do with AirPods. If we go into settings and go into our AirPods settings, there's new options for adaptive transparency, as well as some other options with muting and then personalized volume, conversational awareness, and loud sound reduction. Of course, the new things have to do with conversational awareness. While you're using your iPhone with your AirPods, it simply just drops down the overall noise cancellation if someone starts speaking or even pauses a movie you're watching. So if someone's speaking and maybe a movie is playing, let me show you that, or TV show, and you can see I have a movie playing and as I speak, it will actually pause it automatically. Then as I stop talking, it will actually recognize that and begin playing again. So if I go back out and then go over to my AirPods settings, it's actually started playing again in the top and then again pauses as I continue speaking. This is a super helpful feature whether you're watching on Apple TV or iPhone or somewhere else. So that's something I really appreciate. The same is true with personalized volume where it adjusts the volume of media in response to your environment. So all of these features are super helpful and great, but they particularly work on AirPods Pro 2. For some reason, they haven't carried all of them to all of the other AirPods, specifically AirPods Max. It could have something to do with the chipset inside, but at this point, that's the only disappointment with that. But it's great to have these features in iOS 17. One other feature I really appreciate a lot has to do with the fast device switching with AirPods this time around. If I hit play on my iPad, it immediately begins to play in my ear. I can hear it in my left ear, as I only have one of them in at this time. But if I go over to my iPhone and then maybe go into music, let it load for a moment, hit play, it immediately switches in real time as I press play. It's already playing from my iPhone. If I go back to my iPad, hit play, it switches immediately again. The fast switching is incredible this time around and works seamlessly. In iOS 17, Spotlight Search is much better and something I actually use all of the time. In the past, I would just search for an app and then open an app that way if it wasn't on one of my main screens. Now we can go directly into functions of those apps, and also just searching for other things, such as maybe Apple, brings up a lot more information than we had before. So Apple, maybe Apple Store, it's predicting the text here. So if I hit space, Apple Store, you'll see it's predicting what I might want with shortcuts and more. It just seems to get this right more often, what I'm actually looking for, and gives me more relevant information. So I'm actually finding I'm using Spotlight Search much more in iOS 17 because of its results. Also, one thing I'm really enjoying is standby mode. That's where you can use maybe your plug and just place your phone in landscape mode, or you can use a dock like this one. I'll link it in the description. But if I place my iPhone on it here, and if we lock the display, give it just a moment, it will switch over to a standby mode if it's in landscape. Now, it works great on a dock, whether you're using it on your desk or maybe while you go to sleep, you have it nearby, but it gives you different information based on whatever you've set. So you have some options here. So we have our reminders, we have some music, we also have our calendar and the weather. And then on this side, we can switch back and forth to maybe stocks or the clock or something else. Or we can switch to pictures. We also have the option for maybe just the time. We want just that, and different options for the clock there. We can customize this fully to whatever we like, and it gives us relevant information with live activities as well, and even Siri results. What's the weather today? And there it gives us a nice view of what the weather is and lets us see what it is, and actually opened the weather app on its own. So I really enjoy this new standby mode. Some people may not find it useful, but it's something that I actually really like. Another thing I find myself using a little bit more now are widgets. Not only can we interact with them, but they actually update in real time. So with the work widget here that you'll see for reminders, if I tap on relax, it goes away immediately and then clears the reminder. The same is true with music. If I press play on the music widget, it will play right away. It starts playing in the dynamic island. Or we can turn on things in our house with lights and more. So we're going to see more interactive widgets. This is something many of us have wanted for a long time. We can interact with our home, music, reminders, and many other things hopefully in the future. Sometimes we can interact with contacts if you have that set up, and much more. So this is a great update and something I find I use more and more as I have a widget page here. So instead of going into the app, I can just hit play there. Another thing I find very helpful is when you don't have a good internet connection, we now have the option for offline maps within the map application. The offline maps are super helpful just to have the map data so it doesn't have to load all of the time. So we can resize the area we want and then download the selected area. You can download a whole state, as you see here, and we also have the option to remove those if we don't need them any longer. So maybe we're taking a trip to a different state, say maybe Pennsylvania or New York. We can download the whole area, make sure we have it there, and then it only needs to update the traffic information. Or if you don't want to use a lot of maybe data or cellular data, you can use offline maps only and turn off your cellular data for maps. You can still use it that way, and it will give you directions. So this is super helpful and something I actually use all of the time. The other thing that I find very helpful that I'll be using much more in the future as more people I know have iOS 17 is if we go into settings, and then we go down to passwords, we now can create new shared groups for passwords. So you can share passwords and passkeys, you can add trusted contacts, choose what to share, and it says whoever creates the group can actually control it. So this is really great if maybe you have a password you share for a home or something else. You can have a whole group of passwords that are shared over iCloud Keychain with someone that you select here. This is something I'll be using much more as more people have iOS 17 in my family. So maybe you're using Netflix within your household and someone wants the password for their device. you could share it there. The same is true maybe for even your Apple account or something else. It's just great to have this shared directly on device and have it sync. There's more features and changes throughout iOS 17 than many of us expected, but I just shared the top 10 that I use regularly and find that I use the most. And so everything from weather gets an update with different updates with things such as wind and also moon phase and much, much more. There's also changes in music where you press and hold on a different song and you can view the credits, and lots of little changes all throughout the OS. Many very helpful things from accessibility and more, but those were the top that I find that I use the most. Let me know what your favorite iOS 17 features are in the comments below, and of course I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.